I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you, and welcome to the South River Board of Education regular meeting of Thursday, September 22nd, 2022. In compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Laws of 1975 of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the South River Board of Education was provided in the following manner. On September 2nd, 2022, the notice was delivered to the office of the South River Borough Clerk and posted at the Board of Education Administration Building. On September 2nd, 2022, the notice was faxed mailed to the following newspapers: Home News Tribune, Sentinel. On September 2nd, 2022, the notice was posted at the South River Borough Clerk's office. Mr. Kokoska, would you call the roll?
Mr. Bazak here. Mr. Hudson.
Here.
Mrs. Bush.
Mrs. Bush has been excused.
Mrs. Byrne.
Here.
Mrs. Lowe.
Here.
Mr. Nielsen.
Here.
Mr. Dowski.
Here.
Mr. Young.
Here.
Mr. Vanek.
Here.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum. Our agenda tonight, under the minutes, Mr. Kokoska.
There are no changes since Monday's meeting.
Thank you. Is there a motion on the minutes?
Nielsen moved the motion to move the minutes as read.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Nielsen, second by Ms. Lell. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next item, use of facilities, Mr. Kokoska.
There are two items since Monday: the South River High School project graduation and Prismatic Magic.
Is there a motion on the use of facilities?
Nielsen, use of facilities in accordance with board policies.
Motion by Mr. Nielsen, is there a second? Second by Mr. Bazak. Any questions or comments on the use of facilities? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Ms. Well, our financial report.
Thank you, Mr. Benedict. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby certifies that it is in receipt of the financial report, which indicates that no major account has been overexpended and that sufficient funds are available to meet the district's financial obligations for the remainder of the fiscal year. The Finance Committee recommends that the reports of the Board Secretary and the Treasurer of School Monies for July 2022 be approved, and I so move.
Thank you. We have a motion by Ms. Well,
Second by Nielsen.
second by Mr. Nielsen. Are there any questions or comments on the financial report? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to turn the meeting over to our Superintendent of Schools for her report, Ms. Zurcher.
Thank you, President Urbanek. I'm going to actually, if it's okay, Mr. Clerk, will you let me know? I'd like to do 3.2 before 3.1. Okay. So 3.2 is actually our district goals for school year 22-23. We have 4 goals here tonight in front of the board for action. And goal number 1 is focused on instruction and learning. This goal is really in response to the COVID pandemic. And really, it's a goal for the assessment of student learning, delays and acceleration, and a plan for supplemental intervention, supplemental programs and enrichment, services and support. Goal number 2 is regards physical, social, and emotional health. And this goal supports students, families, and staff as they reacclimate and transition to a full-time in-person learning environment safely and successfully. So a lot here with social and emotional. You will see in the email tomorrow, we are putting out some information for parents about our dog therapy program. So we ask that you please take a look at that. It's just one of the many things that we have in place, but definitely some good information for our parents to review tomorrow. Goal number 3 is in human resources, and I think everybody is aware of what's happening nationally with the teacher shortage and how really we have to work hard to recruit and then sustain good teachers, highly trained teachers, well-motivated teachers for our students. And so we've set a goal for that. And then goal number 4 is for safety and security. We've been having a lot of conversations about really maximizing everything we can do in terms of the resources we can put in place and the approaches that we can take when it comes to safety and security. Our teachers had on their first day of school without students, a training from SRPD for safety and security, and then we had some follow-up activities with their principals as well. The majority of our schools have already held their first drills, and the drills are to really see what's slipping through the cracks, what goes wrong, so that we know that through a drill and we can address those challenges. And that completes our goals for the year. So again, they focus on instruction and learning, social and emotional health, human resources, and safety and security. And that is board action this evening. Any questions or any comments on those?
No, and we're gonna have that under the consent resolution, if all the board members are in favor of that.
Okay.
Yes. So the next part of my monthly report is focused on the start of school. I mentioned on Monday night, I've had the opportunity to visit all of our schools, and other than a few struggles at the middle school with those lockers, our kids are doing really well. They're just really acclimating, getting used to their new back-to-school routines, and our teachers are as well. And we'll just skip the item and put that in my report for last. The next item I want to discuss is an opportunity to address the elementary school playground. We've been working with one of the co-op vendors from ESCMJ to give us a proposal for new playground equipment. And we want to do this, we definitely know that that playground could use it, and we are in a good financial position with our maintenance reserve to be able to address the playground at this time. And what we want to do is make sure that we involve our students in the process, and so we'll be putting out it's like a Google form with some different photos and some different equipment that the children can choose to have included in the playground. So we're excited about that. We're looking to change the ground cover of that playground area as well into more of that rubberized mat that doesn't need the continuous maintenance or that mulch that sometimes gets in all of the bottom of our kids' shoes and everywhere. So we're going to use that same rubberized mat that we are using for the outdoor classroom space, which is about to go into construction in the next week or so, fairly soon. So we're looking forward to getting those pictures out to our kids. We will for our parents as well, and we are definitely excited about that project. And in the new traffic pattern, I've been in touch with SRPD. They are reporting good feedback, and I've been receiving good feedback that the traffic is alleviating near our schools. We are aware that there are some issues still that pertain outside of the vicinity of our schools, and the car traffic is definitely something that we continue to work on. But we're noticing that students are being dropped off, that the traffic is flowing in a timely fashion, and you know, we've been fortunate with the weather too, which a lot of times does impact the traffic flow. This week, our high school held a fair of lunchroom clubs. Did you go to the fair? All right, but many other students did. So there were a lot of lunchroom clubs, a whole list of them that are posted on the high school's website, and so many opportunities, a lot of new clubs that students can join, and the clubs do run during the lunchtime, and students also have a block of time called HAP, called Help and Access Period, and they can use that time to go visit their teachers if they are making up work, if they don't understand a concept, if they just need some additional support, or if they maybe even want to get ahead in a course. So that's time dedicated to students to work either independently or with their teachers to really get the support they need academically. So between the clubs as well as the HAP, we feel like we're providing students something comprehensive beyond just a regular coursework. We have homecoming coming up, which is exciting, And homecoming will be Saturday, October 22nd. And then I want to go back into the top of my report, which is about the referendum. There has been a lot of discussion and consideration from the board as to when we will place a ballot question for the upcoming referendum. And that date we're announcing tonight will be January 24th, 2023. We are going to make sure that we advertise that date. It will be in the EVAM tomorrow. It will be on our website in the referendum tab. And we will also put out a separate message on just that notification alone. We do want people to be aware of that date. And between now and then, we'll be holding information sessions. We're going to hold them in a variety of ways, in person as well as via Zoom. We know that some of our families can access a virtual session more easily than the in-person, and we want to provide both opportunities. So just as a reminder, the first question is for the construction of an early learning center for pre-K and the reconstruction of Denny Stadium. And the second question, contingent on the first, is for the use, for the build of a multi-use turf field. And what I'd like to do is, I have two things to show the board and the public tonight in relation to the referendum. The first is this board here that we created. We are going to make an electronic version of this to email out to parents, but I thought just to give an idea of how students would, or how we would shift classes from one area to another in order to lower that class size. That question has come up several times, and it's a difficult concept to kind of figure out where everything is shifting without having a good visual. So I'd like to show that to the board and the public tonight. And then I also have a short video that some of our staff members have put together that that answers some of those most important questions. But I'll do this one
Do you need help with
first, and I
this?
need 2 volunteers. Right, yeah. Let's see. One, two, this, we're gonna hold this up first. All right, so what you're seeing here is you have the elementary school, and we are representing the classrooms right now in grade 2. And there's, this year, we have 7 of those classrooms in grade 2. This fluctuates, sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 7. This year we have 8 first grades, could be 8, but that's where the fluctuation is. We kept it at 7 for the purpose of this, and that's mostly where it has been throughout the years, at 7. Here's the primary school pre-K, and what we have here is 10 classrooms of pre-K. These classrooms are a combination of gen ed students and in-class special ed students. So there are some special ed students in these classes and gen ed. We have 2 classes at Head Start. That's the South Amboy Estella location. And then we have 3 self-contained pre-K classrooms. And these classrooms are high-need classrooms. They require a lot of services and support from our staff, some of that staff, most of that staff being shared staff. And then we have a wait list. We have enough students to fill up 2 classes on that wait list. So this is what we look like right now. If the proposed early learning center were to be built, now we have 12 classrooms available. So the first thing that happens is these here shift. Right, it's an early learning center for pre-K. These are coming here. Wait list. No more wait list. We have space for the students currently on the wait list. So now you would say, well, wow, this school got filled up pretty quickly. And it needs to be filled up pretty quickly because if we submit an application to the Department of Ed, which we're required to do to build any building in a public school system, and if we submit an application, but we don't show that we would be filling those schools, they would say, no, you have to build a smaller school. So we do have to build a building that is actually going to be servicing the students that it is meant to service. So that would be the Early Learning Center. We took kids off the wait list. Our students in Head Start stay because they are receiving services there, and that's an important piece to this puzzle. We want those families to continue to receive these services that they can from the federal program that we cannot provide in the district. And then there's the self-contained also stay, because like I said before, they have shared services and supports with some of our other children as well. And so now here we are at the elementary school, because now we've freed up all this space. Grade 2 used to be at the primary school. They can go back. Now at the primary school, we have 1, 2, 3 classrooms we haven't built. And we have some choices for those classrooms based on what our needs will be at that time. We could continue to keep class size somewhat where it is right now with the use of the modulars. The modulars could come back here, right? And that would keep those class sizes in first grade that we were able to bring down this year at that class size, at that lower class size. We have another classroom that we could give to kindergarten as well, or second grade if those numbers facilitated the 8 classrooms, which has been unusual. So this would likely go to kindergarten, to lower class size there. Or another option could be to take some of those special area teachers off those cards. Music is on a card, world language, art. We have a lot of teachers who are just on a card, especially art, which requires a lot of supplies. It would give us an opportunity to investigate that further. So that's what it gives us. It gives us opportunity. So here's the elementary school. And now we have 7 spaces we can use here. We have a lot of opportunity here now, right? We could use this for lowering class size in grades 3 to 5. We could use it for fine arts also. We have the same problem at the elementary school that we have at the primary school with fine arts. Or we could use some of this space for middle school as well, as we know that they share a building. So those are our options. That's a little shift, and that's how it works.
That is a great demonstration, and it really makes sense.
Questions?
Just to me, I like it.
Questions? Comments? Well, we can take questions from the public and open out of the mic, just because I'm doing a presentation. Well, so if we build this, yeah. Well, no, not necessarily. At this point, we're reaching about 95% of our population, and we do look at birth rates. So we're looking at birth rates for this year, right? When we're talking about a pre-K program that will be built a few years down the road. So in looking at that demographic information in the district, we did have a demographic study done about 2 years ago. It shows us that we will be in good shape for the 12 classroom facility. And it doesn't show that we need to go above that. But if we had to go above that, the problem with building a larger school is, well, number one, the space that we have, and number 2, the cost. Right? The cost of building a larger school is a larger system, it's a larger everything. So it would definitely impact the cost of the build itself. But
Good.
thank you. And now you have a movie. This was created by our staff, so the graphics and so on are not professional. So we ask for you to just be cognizant of that, but they did a great job.
If the referendum passes, when will the new pre-K building open?
The new Early Learning Center would open in 2025. The pre-K program is available at no cost to parents and is funded through a state grant dedicated for pre-K. If South River didn't have a pre-K program, those funds would go to another town's pre-K instead.
Oh, I didn't realize that. How much does the district receive in grant funding for the pre-K program?
We receive almost $1.6 million each year as long as we keep the program running. This covers the entire cost of the program.
Does everyone who wants the pre-K program get in?
Unfortunately, no. We have over 35 kids on a waiting list. The new building would eliminate the wait list, increase the funding for the program, and allow more students in.
Well, I can't wait for my little one to be ready.
I have no children in the district. I don't want my taxes to go up.
We understand your concern. But if you own property in the borough, one of the main reasons property values continue to rise is because we offer free full-day pre-K. It makes our community a desirable place to buy a home, especially for young families. Property values in South River have risen higher than surrounding towns since we started the pre-K program.
But what about my taxes?
The new increase for the average home in South River, valued at almost $300,000, would be about $149 per year, or $12 per month.
Why aren't we voting for this referendum in November?
The vote is this winter, on January 24th, 2023. We had to wait for final approvals from the Department of Education. Also, it was recently released that funding opportunities may be available through the School Development Authority. We've been waiting for information to apply for these funds and potentially lower the cost of these projects.
I want the stadium. It really needs it. But I'm not sure why the pre-K building is necessary. Why are these two questions together? I would like to choose between the two.
We've come to a time when both projects are equally needed and important for very different populations of our students and community. It would be unfair to prioritize one over the other. If the referendum passes, combining the projects allows us to bid them at the same time and potentially be more cost-effective. I heard that the new building will alleviate space at the primary and elementary schools, but how?
Currently, 10 classrooms at the primary school are used for the pre-K program. Those classes would move to the new building. 7 classes of second grade could move back to the primary school, allowing both buildings to have more space to reduce class sizes or take special classes like art or music off a cart. We can also get rid of the modulars at the primary school at that time.
But what about traffic? Traffic up at the schools is so hectic. They built all these schools in one area, and now we're adding one more.
It's true that we are all on one campus. We would have to purchase land to build the school somewhere else in town, which doesn't make sense since we have it here. But regarding traffic, the start and end times for pre-K are completely different from the high school, elementary school, and middle school. Traffic should not be impacted by the new school.
What is happening to the stadium through this project?
We will be replacing the stands, press box, concession stand, and bathrooms. If the second question passes, we will also have turf.
But we just did the track. Isn't it going to get ruined?
Not at all. The track will be protected and will not be affected by the construction. A new scoreboard is also coming this fall, and it will not be affected either.
We've been in town since they built the elementary middle school. I remember at the time it was said that another floor could be added to that school. Is that true, and why aren't we just doing that?
To build on would require emptying that school and moving over 1,200 students out for over a year. The cost of leasing a space, moving the students, and then making the building compliant with current requirements to build another floor would be more expensive than the cost of a new building.
It feels like we're the only ones left without a turf field. Is that true?
We are one of 6 districts left in Middlesex County without a turf field. We could definitely use it.
Would the field only accommodate football?
No, That's the best part. The turf would allow multiple teams to play, including soccer, and in the future field hockey or lacrosse. We hope this information was useful to you. If you have more questions, please send them to referendum@srivernj.org.
Voting for a referendum is a big decision. Please visit the referendum tab of our district website to get the facts.
Very nice presentation.
And so concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion on the superintendent's report?
Nielsen, move the superintendent's report is read.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Nielsen, second by Ms. Sadowski. Any questions or comments on the superintendent's report? All in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, did you have a question?
I was just gonna say, thank the staff, I like it.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Very good job, very informative.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on, at this time, we are going to open up the meeting for the reception of visitors. At this time, the public may address agenda items only. There will be another public session at the end of the meeting for any concerns for the Board of Education. If you would like to come to the podium, please state your name and address, and please keep your comments to a 10-minute limit.
Good evening. Carla Rendero, 49 Catherine Street. The only concern that I have is, and I know we've mentioned a lot, the preschool program does go in at a different time. However, it's very close at the end of the school day. So there's going to be an issue then. There's already no parking for parents when we come to pick up our kids. A lot of us are down the hill, we're walking up the hill. I even have my kids this year walking down the hill to me because that sidewalk going down the hill with middle school and elementary school coming out at the same time, there's kids on the street. I've seen kids almost get run over because they're going from the sidewalk. There's no room to walk on that sidewalk going down. So what are we planning on doing about this?
Yeah, so actually, the bid that's being projected today, because of the high cost, part of that project was to actually widen that sidewalk, because we've noticed the same thing. We're going to go back out to bid on that project, we're going to make that a safer space, especially around that corner. So we're definitely looking to address that. In terms of the times, for the pre-K program itself, we don't have any restrictions on where we set arrival time or dismissal time. We have an allotment of hours that we have to put the program in place, but not necessarily a start time or an end time. So closer to that time, and definitely if the referendum passes, we'll have those discussions and make sure that we are setting an arrival and dismissal time that truly does work to help the situation and not make it worse than we already know is a challenge at this time.
Thank you, Ms. Rendero. Is there anyone else from the public? On first call? On second call? And on third call? I'm going to move this public portion as closed, and we'll move on to the consent resolution. Mr. Kokoska.
The South River Board of Education, by means of a consent resolution, adopt various resolutions of a routine and non-controversial nature at one time, whereas the below listed resolutions are hereby adopted by said Board of Education in whole as to the same were individually acted upon. Under the Superintendent's Report 3.2, under Athletics 6.1 and 6.2, Finance 8.1 through 8.25, Instruction 9.1 through 9.10, Policy and Legislation 11.1 and 11.2, Human Resources 12.1 through 12.21, Safety and Risk 13.1 through 13.5.
Thank you. Is there a motion on the
Nielsen.
consent resolution? Motion by Mr. Nielsen,
Second.
second by Ms. Byrne. Are there any questions, comments, any abstentions, or any items that would like to have read separate?
Yes, I will be abstaining on finance, item 8.7.
Okay. So noted. Would you please call the roll?
Mr. Bezak?
Yes.
And the exception of abstention on human resources item 8.7.
Finance.
I'm sorry, finance, 8.7. Mr. Bezak, 8.7?
Yes.
Mr. Budson?
Yes.
Mrs. Byrne?
Yes.
Mr. Lyle?
Yes.
Mr. Nielsen?
Yes.
Ms. Sadowski?
Yes.
Ms. Young Yao?
Yes.
Mr. Vadeney?
Yes, the motion passes. Thank you. At this time, we're going to go through our committee reports, starting with athletics. Mr. Budson.
We had two items. One is the acceptance of an MVP Sprint mobile tackling dummy for football being donated by Tom Shateri, class of 1970. The second item is letting this basketball team play in a fall league, which will be held at Linden High School. That's all I have.
Thank you. Buildings and grounds, Mr. Nielsen, please.
There's nothing new, but I'll read Mr. Balage's report to the board into the record. As you can see, there's the day-to-day operations listed above, and he says, welcome back. September has come, and so has the beginning of the school year. The last few weeks of summer have proved to be quite challenging to prepare the buildings for our students. While the custodial and maintenance staff raided the classrooms, there were also projects that had to be completed. At the high school, the new parking lot steps and accessible ramp were completed. The parking lot was restriped and the kitchen service lines were updated with new beverage coolers and a new ice machine. The high school courtyard also received new tables and umbrellas to create an updated space for the students to enjoy their lunch. In all of our buildings, over 50 new televisions were mounted and installed, updating our district's smart board capabilities. This year we had 2 additional classrooms to prepare. I am of course referring to the primary school trailers. While it may not sound like a lot, projects such as delivery, placement, and assembly of the trailer, utility hookups, communications, and security building control systems had to be coordinated and installed. New classroom furniture was assembled and whiteboards were mounted, all in the last few weeks of summer. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the CMG staff for all their hard work preparing the schools for the new year, as well as introduce you to our newest member of the team, Michelle Nigro. Michelle has done a tremendous job stepping into her new role. Her experience and knowledge has been a valued asset for CMG staff and for the entire district. Thank you. Here's hoping for a great school year, and as always, go Rams. That's all I have tonight for Mrs. Blanchard. Mr. Blanchard, Madam President.
Thank you very much. Finance, Ms. Lowe.
Thank you. 8.16 had requisition list revisions, and then we have a series of new items that I would like to read into the record. 8.17, addition approved contract, the College of New Jersey Primary School ESL program for the 22-23 school year. 8.18, addition reject, approve award 2022-23, bid number 23-01, interactive display boards, keyboard consultants. 8.19, addition approved contract, World Construction via the Educational Services Commission of New Jersey, co-op bid number ESCNJ 20-21-02, construction services, middle school outdoor classroom project. 8.20, addition approved construction letter and final review fee for DI Group Architecture LLC architectural services for the high school addition project. 8.21, addition approved contract Smartest EDU Inc. for formative learning access for the 22-23 school year. 8.22, addition approved contract Susana Vieta Porzio, Portuguese social evaluations services provider for the 22-23 school year. 8.23, addition approved contract Tools of Mind professional development service provider for the 22-23 school year. 8.24, addition approved lease contract Mobilease Modular Space Inc. security pod provider funded via our ARP grant and local funds for the 22-23 through the 24-25 school years. 8.25, addition approved purchase for the 22-23 school year, bid number 23-01, interactive display boards, keyboard consultants. And that is all I have for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Members, I just want the minutes under 8.18 board check shall be.
8.18.
Under 8.18, leave it as addition approve award? Okay.
Oh, okay. So with that, we will amend the consent resolution. Thank you. Would you please continue with instruction, Ms. Lowe?
I will. With instruction, I will pick up with 9.8. 9.8 is addition approve the 22-23 district testing schedule. It's a lengthy document. 9.9, addition accept donation of clear backpacks with school supplies. I would like to note that in this respect, I'd like to add the information of the person who donated. The name is Alexis Burul, and she's with Creative Financial Group, and she is our Jamie LaTraverse's niece. So I thought that was very nice of her to do that.
Jamie picked up all the bags from the elementary school.
Awesome, that's great. Now where am I at? Oh, 9.10, addition approved contract, Junior Achievement of New Jersey Financial Literacy and Work Career Readiness Programs for the middle school for the 22-23 school year. Having read that, can I provide a small report? Okay.
Of course.
All right, so Ms. Bush isn't here. Normally when she's the head of the committee, I'm just a member of the committee. So in terms of Dr. Trevisano's report, he would like to share that we had over 20 new staff members. They went through a series of orientation components in August. Additionally, it's really important that the district did a sheltered instruction observation protocol. It's called SIOP training, which was led and presented by our own Mrs. Gabriella Colon, and it's an initiative with ESL students. In it, he actually thanks the SREA very nicely for sponsoring the breakfast for the new staff during one of the in-service days. Then he goes on to explain like day 2 and what the staff did. So they were trained in Savas, Houghton Mifflin, McGraw-Hill, Think Circa, and ESS Solutions, which have also shown up on our finance report. So those are some of our partners where the teachers received some professional development information. And the new social studies program is what was put into place this year, so they afforded opportunity and time for staff to work through that. And then the last thing he mentioned, which has been mentioned at the back to school nights, was our change in the revised grading procedure. It was sent as a separate ERAM, then it was sent in the ERAM, and then I think there was a follow-up to it, but just in case, K through 3 is assessed on performance and standards, and then 4 through 12 are going to be graded using a point-based grading system, where in the past it was not done in that manner. So it was nice. I know I attended back to school night last evening where every teacher made a point of stating that, because some of us are, second time around, third time around, but some people are first time, and at the middle school that was different from last year. So it was nice to have that emphasized, throughout the evening. And all that information is on the curriculum tab of the district. And that is all I have to share. Thank you.
Thank you. We have no report for negotiations, policy and legislation. Ms. Byrne.
Thank you. We have one addition, 11.2, addition approved first reading revised policy number 5145.12, search and seizure. And that is all.
Thank you. Human Resources, Mr. Bezak, please.
Thank you. I have 4 new items since Monday evening. Item 12.18, addition approved additional adult school staff 2022-2023 school year. Item 12.19, addition approved appoint Mariam Massoud, high school French teacher 2022-2023 school year. Item 12.20, addition approved appoint Kimberly Polio, elementary school guidance counselor, leave replacement 2022-2023 school year. And item 12.21, addition approved coaching changes 2022-2023 school year.
Thank you. I just want to make mention of item 12.16, because in the superintendent's report, you mentioned about the lunch clubs. That's just a listing of many of the lunch clubs that we have, and there are a lot. That's a nice offering. That really is. So then, moving on to our safety and risk management report, Ms. Sadowski.
Thank you. There are no additional items on the agenda since Monday night.
Thank you. School Community Relations, Ms. Yang Yao.
Thank you, there are no items on the agenda.
Okay, we are going to go on to our School Board Borough Council Liaison Committee. Mr. Nielsen?
We have nothing to report this evening. We are into that area, getting ready for the upcoming election season, so I imagine it'll be a little bit busy until sometime in November. Hopefully we can get back on track then.
Very good, thank you. PTA Liaison, Ms. Sadowski.
Thank you. Currently, the primary and elementary school PTAs are taking memberships. There's sign-up information that's located in the ERAM as well as in the PTA monthly newsletters. Just a couple of things that are going on. In the primary school, they held their first meeting last night, and they already have many events planned for the first couple months of school, including a yard sale for gently used Halloween costumes on Friday night. Picture Day is next week already. They are also having a penny war competition that's going on in between the individual teachers and classrooms. They're selling RAM card magnets, smellograms, box sets of greeting cards, discount cards. They already have a book fair that is scheduled for the beginning of October, and they're hosting a glow party on Friday, October 7th for families to attend. The elementary school, I touched base with them today. They are revamping, I guess, their board, so they have not really done a whole lot yet. But they did have Picture Day this last week, and I'm not sure what's going on with middle school and high school. I don't know if it's going to be the same situation as last year, where
You're trying.
yeah. That's where we're at, and all that information is located in the ERAMs and the newsletters. Thank you.
Thank you. Our South River Public Library Liaison, Mr. Goodson.
On September 19th, the library held a Social Security educational seminar. On September 20th, they had a Pirates Party. The Haunted Library begins on August 3rd. October 3rd. October 4th, they're having a family fortnight where they're going to build forts. October 12th, they're having a Halloween craft for kids. On October 25th, they're having a pumpkin decorating party. And your annual Halloween party is October 27th at 6 p.m. That's all I have.
Thank you. And our South River Foundation for Educational Excellence Liaison, Ms. Lowe.
Thank you. We had our Zoom meeting, and they went through a series of components related to bringing back their dinner dance. As of now, they have a date on hold, and it's easy for me to remember. 2323, February 3rd, 2023. It is the last possible date at the Riamar before they start their construction. So the idea was they will be discussing as a board if they are 100% moving forward with it. They have their 3 honorees. They pick somebody from the community. They pick somebody from that has given of themselves to SRF, and then they try to involve somebody from the district. So some names were discussed. I'm not going to release those names. That is not for me to say, and they will be able to share all that. And they have also started to consider finding out information about how to gather more students. The 2 students that they have as vice president and as secretary have not been coming to the meetings, so they are hoping to touch base with the students, gather more students, and have an opportunity with that. And the next meeting is on their website, which can also be found on our website through our parent links. And I think that's where they're at. They have not heard back from the PSE&G big grant. That is really something important to them, and they're really hoping that within the next couple of weeks and month. Last year they were announced in October, so we'll see how it goes. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next report will come from our new student board representative, Jaden Rodriguez. I'd like to welcome you to the board.
I'd also like to thank Ms. Richard board for locally. Excuse me. It's been a great first couple weeks back to school, as some would say, our first normal year. And in a while. The first week of school, we had our fall pep rally, which turned out a great success. We had our first football games that turned out really well. The longest soccer that I've seen. Had a great turnout for those. The last football game, it was great to have Mr. Drew Pearson come and be there in attendance. He hung out with the football players. We had breakfast with him. It was really good having him there. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Is there any old or new business to come before the board at this time? Seeing none, do we have a report from our attorney?
Nothing to report tonight.
Thank you. And Ms. Lowe, payment of bills?
I was already taking the microphone off. All right, here we go. The Finance Committee recommends that all bills presented, having been certified by the School Business Administrator, Board Secretary, be paid as listed, and I so move.
We have a motion by Ms. Well.
Second.
Second by Mr. Nielsen. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. At this time, the board is going to open up the meeting, once again, to the public. This is for any concern or comment that you may have for the board. If you come to the microphone, please state your name and address, and please keep your comments to a 10-minute limit. Anybody from the public wishing to speak or ask questions for any concern? On the first call. On the second call. On third call. This public portion is closed. We do not have an executive session tonight, but at this time, I'd just like to go a little off script and just go for some board comments to our retiring business administrator, Mr. Ken Kokosko. I am going to miss you. Served on this board with you for all your 22 years here. You've been a great asset to this board. You've helped us get through a lot of challenging financial times. You've seen us through the building of new schools, through the improvement of existing schools, and all of our facilities. I want to thank you, and I want to wish you well and good health in your retirement. Start with Mr. Budson, anything?
So then, have a great retirement and keep you going at those Rutgers games.
Thank you.
Best of luck, Ken. I'm going to miss you and enjoy your retirement. Stay healthy. Let's play a little golf one day.
Congratulations on your retirement.
Thanks.
It's very exciting. Thank you for everything that you've done for us.
Congratulations. Thanks. Thank you. Ms. Young-Yao.
Congratulations, and we have a great retirement.
Thanks, Sam.
I remember when I started here, and I would visit over there with you and Pat, and it's fitting, I think, that the two of you left together, because I honestly can only picture you two together for so long, and I think that it is well-deserved time for you and your family, and I wish you health, and I wish you peace, and a lot of sun.
Thank you, Liz.
Congratulations on your retirement, Ken.
Thanks.
Well deserved. Enjoy that Florida sun. You know, like they say, take it easy, but take it.
Thank you. We will.
Mr. Parton.
Ken, it's been a pleasure. It's been 17 years, actually, that we've been working together.
Wow.
And horribly jealous of and I really wish you travel the best.
Thank you.
And Ms. Archer.
We've had a lot of conversation about how much I love Ms. Ken and all we've accomplished together and all he's done for the district. I can't say it enough. Every time I have an opportunity, I'm not a loss for words. It's going to be a big loss for the district, but I want the best for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time,
say Kim?
Yes, of course. I thought you were all out of words.
No, I
Please
just,
do.
it's, I've been a business administrator for 28 years. 22 of them have been here. Cindy took a little of my thunder.
Oh,
I want to
sorry.
thank Cindy and Mr. Budson, who was here 22 years ago. Sorry, John. Sorry, Cindy.
That's okay.
Who hired me. And they gave me the opportunity to work here in South River. It's been a great, it's a wonderful district to work in. I wish the town, the board, superintendent, all the best in their future endeavors. I'll be watching closely in January on the sunny beaches, how you make out in January. And again, I hope, I've been fortunate, we've been fortunate. We've gone through 3 or 4 referendums here since I've been here, and knock on wood, they've all passed. Please do not blame the new business administrator if something does. It's not the business administrator, but it's again, it's a wonderful opportunity when you live in when you work in a district that the community does support the children here, because you really just don't understand the problems that you have when you have a community that does not support the schools and votes all the time for referendums. And they even go back to the budgets. Back in the days when we had to vote for budgets, I think maybe out of the 15, 16 times that we've had to vote, I think maybe just once, I think, or maybe twice, the worst case that the town did not support the schools. And it's a tribute to the town. So again, I wish you well. Again, thank you for everything that you've done. And again, I wish you the best. Thank you.
Mike Ken.
Thank you, Ken.
We're still keeping the speed up.
It's all the same number.
Okay, so that concludes our meeting. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Nielsen.
Motion by Mr. Nielsen, second by Ms. Young Yao. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.